There's objectively only one fun boss in the game, with that being Mortis, and no second opinion is ever allowed. What makes him a real boss for me is the combination of immunity to armor breaks, which actually allows him to use his full skill set, paired with his multiple phases to defeat. However, for a while I have struggled to find what you would call the best build for Mortis as mage. As such, I tested most of them myself in preparation for the incoming grind for Dragon Bones, and here is what I concluded. For starters, the base for every build shown in this video will include 5 out of 5 Blood Mage for obvious reasons, 10 out of 10 on both Fire Guardian and Fire Mastery for max buffing the Fire Guardian's damage, and 1 out of 10 Frost Charge because why not? For the purpose of giving every build a fair fight, I will be using the same stats and items throughout every test, including the Frostwind Amulet and Fireball Cloak. The Ice Missile build starts off rather slow, as I only have as little as 138% skill damage per attack and 5 attacks per second. Over time, stacking Frostwind improves the damage up to 4 times. It falls off in fast groups, but can make for a good solo option. Meanwhile, double Fireball build is most commonly used for taking out swarms, most often in ice-based maps. Even with Adamant Magma in play, dealing only 210% skill damage 4.166 times a second does not lead to a viable boss DPS. Lightning is generally the go-to option for long fights. The stacks of Electrify that each lightning hit applies stack up fast, and when fully stacked can lead to a 3.5 times multiplier on all things lightning. This build has the slight downside of making your health bar look something like this for the whole fight, but in exchange you get the fastest kill times on a single boss. Although you can and probably will heavily struggle once the phase 3 minions start spawning. Now is a good time to mention that you can make this work even without Lightning Strike. You see, in a build that allows for Lightning Mastery, Lightning Strike gains both damage and the ability to apply multiple stacks of Electrified. But for Mortis, we want to use Fire Mastery instead, as the Fire Guardian will deal more damage than all of the other skills combined. In fact, potentially as much as 2/3 of all the damage comes from Fire Guardian alone. So, what happens to our main damage when we eliminate Lightning Strike? Not surprisingly, almost nothing. The first turns were less than 2 seconds apart, so I repeated each build 2 more times, and ultimately the difference came down to how much time I would spend walking to escape melee attacks. So, it is safe to say that you can avoid using Lightning Strike in Mortis Lightning builds. And with that, we concluded Lightning is the best option for Spellweavers. Thanks for watching, and hope to see— Wait! It is not over yet! So far I only covered how skills interact with normal essences, but for maximum damage output at Mortis, usually you would want to play the elemental essences instead, and using those changes everything. For starters, elemental essences do not get affected by stacks of Electrified, and when elemental essences add more damage than the base attacks have, you can probably guess that lightning will not be much, if any, faster this way. On a similar note, the bonus damage from elemental essences also doesn't get affected by Frostwind. The main difference from Lightning build is that you now have to spend time casting Frostwind for a much smaller boost in damage. The buff is so small that it made me question whether it was even saving any time. As such, I timed one run without using Frostwind as well, and What a surprise! Using Frostwind was, in fact, the better choice. Now, if you were questioning the use of Fireball earlier in the video, be assured I did not insert it to act as a laughingstock. Remember, Elemental Essences scale with the skill's base damage, and while this seems to bring Ice and Lightning down, it only helps Fireball. First, Fireball normally has 140% skill damage, which is being reduced to 105 once you equip Adamant Magma. However, Elemental Essences ignore that decrease, effectively scaling off of 140% skill damage for 2 attacks at a time. Despite Fireball having a slower attack rate at 4.166 compared to Ice Missile and Chain Lightning's 5, Fireball claims the fastest clear time of the 3 builds once Elemental Essences are applied. So, there you have it. For Bone Elixir runs, your best bet is relying on Fireball and Fire Guardian for maximum damage output. As a bonus, this is already the best skill to take out any spawns in your way and prevent many bosses from casting shield around your tank at Mortis. However, there is one asterisk if you want to use that. Dragon Knights will often use Lightning Mastery in order to make their attack do lightning damage, as well as apply electrified stacks. Here's the catch though. While normally electrified stacks buff only lightning attacks, and Smash can be converted to lightning, you do not need to have Lightning Mastery as a Dragon Knight to benefit from electrified stacks. You only need it to apply them. But you will probably not want any major ranger to do that. So while Mortis is weaker to physical damage than Elemental, it might be the best option to sacrifice part of the tank's damage by making said tank the one to use Lightning Mastery.